Hello Team FD and welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show where we revisit the highs and lows from the football and the weekend just gone by. Joining me on today's show is Joseph Tomlinson. How's your weekend? How's things? Not spoke to you in a little while, been away?
Yeah, you have been away. It's delightful to have you back, Hamill. I have to be said. It's delightful to have you. Yeah, it's really nice actually. I had my parents down. I got to take them to Sky to see me do TV for the first time ever. So it was quite a wholesome weekend, to be honest with you. Although I'm just looking at myself in my monitor now, and I'm trying to do Movember in it, and it's just shameful. Honestly, it's shameful. I apologise to the viewers having to look at me throughout this episode.
Alrighty then. I mean, good job you had a wholesome weekend off the pitch, because on the pitch, not so much, but we'll get to that in due course. And remember, through this episode, if you like the winners and losers that we've picked, like the video. If you disagree, get in the comments. Me and Joe will be there during the first hour. Right, because our talking point sort of ties in with our losers, we're going to go straight in with a winner, okay? Just to confuse matters. We're going to go winners, losers, moment of the week, like we normally do. And West Ham are opening the show. This suggestion comes from @Eden with the Hammers dealing Liverpool their first defeat in 26 games, beating the Reds 3-2 at the London Stadium, which was an impressive follow-up to their tough midweek draw with Genk in the Europa League, because I think West Ham have lost their previous two fixtures following a European tie. So really impressive to find those energy levels in the dying embers of that game against Liverpool. And West Ham have now accumulated 23 points in their first 11 games, which is a club record in the Premier League era. And it was also the first time in 15 games that David Moyes has defeated the mighty Liverpool, leapfrogging them in the league in the process. So very worthy winners indeed. Shouldn't come as too much of a surprise though, Joe, because they've accrued 65 points in 2021, which is the third best record of any club, only behind Manchester City and Chelsea, I believe. So what impressed you about the home side in this fixture then? Let's break down the game.
I mean, there's a number of areas that are impressive about West Ham right now. David Moyes, first and foremost, is undoubtedly on course to win the Premier League Manager of the Season if he maintains this form. He has been absolutely monumental for West Ham. His ability to balance Premier League and Europa League so far this season is incredible. Absolutely incredible, because it's not the biggest squad you're ever going to see at West Ham, but they're balancing it really, really well. In this game in particular, obviously, we talk about West Ham and set pieces. There's no better side in the Premier League for set pieces. It is a big old unit of a team. There are some large players throughout it, but nevertheless, some of the deliveries in are absolutely superb. Easily the best set piece taking side in the Premier League. I think they've scored 5 more goals than any other Premier League side since 2020. They're just so efficient with it. And I know people were pointing to Alisson errors, and Alisson did have a poor game. It was undeniably, Alisson had a poor game for his own extremely high standards. But the deliveries in by the likes of Pablo Fornals causing so many problems, and they are physical in there. I want to also highlight yet again, everybody knows I'm absolutely in love with Declan Rice at this point. He's been the Premier League's best central midfielder by a mile so far this season. Mateo Kovacic may be up there as well, and I think him and Souček together are one of the best partnerships across any side in Europe right now, to be honest with you. That's how good those two are. I think Declan Rice in this game, 5 tackles. West Ham as a side only put up 7, so only he was just an all-round beast. His ability to go forward. You know, I was listening to Jack Wilshere before the game, giving a bit of insight into West Ham training and what goes on behind the scenes, and he said that actually in training, Declan Rice is the best finisher at the club. I think Declan Rice's game still has levels to go through. We're talking about a 22-year-old future superstar here in central midfield. Everything good goes through Declan Rice. But as a unit, as a team, they just seem really, really in a good place right now. Everything seems fun, enjoyable. Off the pitch, there's loads of laughs. On the pitch, they're getting results. And there's no reason West Ham can't finish 4th this season. United are an absolute shambles. Conte's even started a little bit slowly at Tottenham. I know it's only one game, so a bit harsh there, but no shots on target, do you know what I mean? Arsenal are starting to put together some results, but I'd say West Ham look the most cohesive team. If there's no major injuries and the Europa League doesn't start to have an effect on them, then they stand a good shot of playing in the Champions League next season. I think West Ham are superb right now.
Yeah, and Mikel Antonio full of praise for the coaching staff's approach after the game, which included, interestingly enough, targeting Alisson with those looping long balls.
I think the gaffer, Paul Neville and Kevin Nolan, they control it. They have a look at all these teams, see the weaknesses, see what the strengths are, and then we find all the positions that we want to hit. So like today, it was definitely put straight on the keeper, and we go and we challenge. We saw that no one marks me on the keeper, so I'm kind of there to block the keeper to make sure he can't come out and catch it. And then you saw what happened today, goals.
As good as West Ham were, Liverpool might feel slightly aggrieved they didn't take something from this game. They edged West Ham on expected goals and created some big opportunities in the final 10-15 minutes, didn't they? Which could have snatched a point, most notably Sadio Mane's stooping header, which he absolutely had to put on target. There was some good stuff from Liverpool in patches in this fixture. Trent Alexander-Arnold's free kick, absolutely sublime, resurrecting the David Beckham technique there. And a really interesting stat is that he's now gone level with John Onorisa in terms of goal contributions from defenders in the Premier League. So he's clearly going to reign supreme for that metric forever, I would imagine, given how long he's got left at the top level. Like Divock Origi's swiveled finish as well. Only Daniel Sturridge has scored more goals than him from the bench for Liverpool in the Premier League era. So his stock, continues to rise ahead of the January transfer window. Jurgen Klopp said he was stunned that no one came in for him in the summer. So maybe some, his performances in cup competitions and here might put him in the shop window. And Jurgen Klopp also measured in defeat after the game, actually, but did insist that Alisson deserved more protection throughout the fixture.
We cannot clear them. If the goalie takes them and puts them away, then it's probably a penalty. So what can he do? That's why the goalie is protected in moments. So, and now if a player goes up in the air and arm, that's of course it's not important, but for a goalie it's obviously an important piece of the body, and if that is knocked away, how can he make it safe?
Right, let's not beat around the bush then, Tomlinson. Let's get stuck into our losers, which are of course Manchester United, who we can't stop talking about for all the wrong reasons at the moment. Thank you very much to Atrocity for sending this in. But before we talk about the ridiculous nature of the title of this episode, let's dissect the game against Manchester City, because the scoreline may have looked run of the mill. But make no mistake about it, guys. United completely dismantled, Joe.
Oh, this was shameful. This was as bad as it gets for Manchester United on Saturday. Honestly, it was as bad as Liverpool 5-0. If City wanted to win that game 4 or 5-0, they would have won that game 4 or 5-0. They were toying with Manchester United. Over 800 completed passes at Old Trafford, and off the record, absolute mistake. United were a disgrace. 1-11. The tactics were awful. The performances were awful. And I'm on the verge of just giving up at this stage. I really am, because there is just no coherent vision. There's no coherent blueprint right now out there. The players don't know what they're doing. The coaches look like they don't know what they're doing. I'm so exasperated watching Manchester United, and to be honest with you, I'm bored of it. I really am bored of watching Manchester United. They play boring defensive football without any future vision. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first came in, and over the last couple of seasons, like him or hate him, you could say, okay, if City are going to come, or we're going to go away to City, or we're going to go away to Liverpool, the game plan's going to be to absorb pressure, use fast attacking football in terms of quick transitional counter-attacks, use the pace of Marcus Rashford, and we're going to try and get in behind them quickly, 1 or 2 passes, and then try and get a shot off. Now, it's like Gary Neville said after the game, a child in a corner cowering, scared of what's going to happen. 5 defenders at the back is not working. It's not the Manchester United way. It's awful to watch. The 2 defensive midfielders in front of them don't know what they're doing. The wing backs aren't working. It is a complete and utter cluster. And Ole has now gone away from his vision to try and cover for the frailties of weak players. Because a player is underperforming in a 4 at the back system, rather than getting that player out and giving another player a chance, he's going, okay, we'll just add another defensive body in. There was 8 defenders, effectively, at times for Manchester United against Manchester City. It's just not good enough. Players need to be dropped if they're not performing. It doesn't make sense just to bring other, more experienced centre-backs in, because they're not working either. I think players like Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire could do with some time out of the limelight. Luke Shaw in particular this season has really struggled. Bruno Fernandes could probably even do with a break. He's played way too much football. And the simple fact that a player like Jadon Sancho can't get a game in this team tells you all you need to know. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what the system is. And I thought after the game, when Ole was giving his interview, he looked like a broken man. I'm just off, to be honest, at this stage.
Some of the numbers that illustrate Joe's rant there. City had 16 shots to Manchester United's 5. 12 of those came inside the penalty area to United's 3, so it could have been significantly more than 2-0, given the quality of chances they did produce. Just imagine if they actually had, you know, a fit Aguero starting at 9, for example. Pep's men had around 70% of the possession away from home. That's around 5-6% above their season average. So, you know, keeping the ball away from the likes of Manchester United more so than previous opposition that we expect to finish mid-table. 38 touches inside United's box compared to United having 4 in theirs. So, yeah, United never really got started in an attacking sense. We've spoke about the domino effect that Ronaldo starting at 9 has on the rest of the team prior, so I won't bore you guys at home with that again. Instead, let's put some shine on some Manchester City players, because it was a very, very complete team performance. And it took a couple of exceptional performances to stand out from the crowd. And João Cancelo was definitely qualifies for that. 5 tackles and interceptions, 5 touches inside the opposed penalty area, more than Manchester United as an entire team. 2 dribbles and 1 assist. And I thought John Stones deserved special mention as well for the way that he competed with Ronaldo in the air. 5 aerial duels won. That was the most on the pitch. Probably had the hardest task on that pitch of all 22 players as well. Well, maybe not as the game went on.
Yeah,
that was
probably not.
De Gea.
Probably not. Yeah, it was De Gea, definitely. If it wasn't for De Gea, it would have been 4-0 down at half time.
But yeah, had to contend with Ronaldo. Had to constantly reset play, although was very easy given United's complete lack of press. But Pep probably rubbed extra salt in the wound, didn't he? Saying that the game was comfortable in his post-match.
No, I'm so sorry. I don't like to don't use them, but the game was 2-0 and everything was comfortable. I felt didn't change anything.
Right, let's get into the manager chat then, Joseph, because United now 6th after 11 fixtures, so around 25% of the season gone. Behind Arsenal, level on points with Brighton. The underlying numbers even worse. Expected points puts Manchester United in 12th. So yeah, very unforgiving when you look underneath the hood. And Ole's win ratio fast approaching that of David Moyes' tenure at Manchester United. This is of course all led. This is added fuel to the fire, the Brendan Rodgers fire that has been circulating on Twitter this morning. He's been made 2-1 favourite, the Northern Irishman, to take over at United with most bookkeepers. And an article that seems to stem from a publisher called Caught Offside is saying that he's agreed to take over verbally at the end of the season. Of course, safe to assume that isn't grounded in any sort of fact. But let's play with that concept. What do you make of it all?
Look, let's be real. If a manager was available that Manchester United wanted, i.e. Pochettino or Ten Hag or Rodgers himself, potentially, I think Ole probably would have been given the boot. United were never going to appoint Conte. I've already spoken about that on Sunday Vibes, so I'm not going to go back into that. The board would just... It's too... Even though he probably isn't any more explosive than any other top managers, the board clearly view him as that. I obviously think that would have probably been a smart appointment, but United's board were never going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Ole...
They want a company man, yeah.
Ole is on borrowed time. We can all see that Ole is on borrowed time. It's a case of when, not if, at this stage for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And United clearly can't see anyone in the market that can come in and take over at this stage. Let's not forget that we also have the problem of Ed Woodward leaving the club. So if Ed Woodward leaves now, or at Christmas, whenever he's going, does he want his legacy, his last moments as Man United to be defined, or not defined because it's been a show, but finishing off with sacking another manager. And equally, does the new CEO want to have to come in first job, sack a manager? Probably not. So those two factors go into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer staying. No available managers on the market. Go and pay whatever Ten Hag wants. Get him in the club at this stage, surely. Obviously points to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer staying. And the fact he was given a new contract in July points to him staying until 2024. All of his backroom staff got new contracts. Kieran McKenna, Michael Carrick, Mick Phelan. So I don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting sacked, even though it is absolutely rancid right now. I think the Champions League is huge for him. If he'd have dropped out of the groups and that Atlanta game had gone against him and then we'd lost against Villarreal, then I think he would have been in serious danger because it would have hit Manchester United in the pocket immediately. Overall, I think Rodgers would be okay. I think it's a pretty uninspiring choice, to be honest with you. He's obviously a very good tactician. He's a coach that has a really good cup final record, to be honest with you. You know plenty about him from his time at Celtic, and he would be fine, wouldn't he? But as a United fan, am I excited by the prospect of Brendan Rodgers taking over? Not really. Not massively. I think, look, let's be real, if Pochettino was on the market, he would already be Manchester United manager right now. That would have happened after Liverpool. So I'm all a bit perplexed, to be honest with you, Hamill. I just don't think Ole's going to get sacked, and I don't think there's a manager out there right now that's going to come in to Manchester United, because Ten Hag's not going to leave mid-season. Like you just said, Rodgers ain't going to leave mid-season, and this caught offside article is an absolute rubbish. Pochettino, unless he gets sacked by PSG, I can't see him leaving mid-season. So I just don't know where United turn. I think Ole's here to stay.
I'll tell you what, Brendan Rodgers does have history leaving mid-season, my friend. I can attest to that. Yeah, I think this is part of the problem with employing a new manager at United at current, right? Because I think the optics plays far too big a role. Brendan Rodgers is a better manager. He's going to get more out of your players. He's going to instill a much clearer, blueprint. He very rarely sort of changes up from what is 3-4-3 or is 3-4-1-2 at the moment.
But I think United's worry is that you give it to Rodgers now, and then Pochettino becomes available in February or something. If PSG get knocked out, have you just cucked yourself for 2 years for the sake of 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult question, isn't it? But I feel like there's been ample opportunity to employ Pochettino in the past.
There has. You're right.
And they've not kind of seized the moment. So I feel, I don't know where their thinking is with that. I don't know if he's just, slipped through the net, the one that got away, so to speak, because he might stay at PSG, the top of the league, so on and so forth. But what do you guys at home think? Would Brendan Rodgers be a significant upgrade on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and should Manchester United just take the plunge and go all guns blazing for the Northern Irishman, or should they stick? Let's finish off then with moments of the week. I've got 3 options here from you. 2 are from the FD squad on Twitter, 1 from me as well. Eric Bailly's post-match tweet. This comes from Tyrone Chambers. I mean, Eric Bailly can do no wrong in my eyes, but that was hilarious.
Did you see Bruno's as well? Did you see Bruno's?
I mean, the whole United squad is every second week now. Just stop it.
God, I can't. I know.
The most depressing one was just like David De Gea just put "I'm hurt," didn't he? It's just
that was
existential
sad.
despair.
That was emotional. That one, yeah.
Just pure despair on the timeline. We've got TA's free kick. TAA? Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, his free kick from Mr. Armchair Fan, as well as international players parading coffins as they beat Gremio, who are their rivals, relegating them in the process. I thought that was shithousery of the sort of elite order in the Brazilian Serie A. What are you going to go for, Joseph?
Well, definitely not Eric Bailly's post-match tweaks. It's an absolute fiasco. I think Trent's free kick was an absolute stunner, so I think I'll go for Trent. I just realised as well, we didn't even mention, Daniel Farke first win sacked, Dean Smith sacked.
I know. I was going to, as the talking point, I was going to put... Doogie raised a very valid point on Twitter saying, will this season top the, I think it was 17-18 season in terms of 10 Premier League sackings? Because we're on 5 at the minute, aren't we? So there's every chance it could get there. But maybe let's discuss and dissect those sackings on future episodes or other strands. You got anything to plug at the end of this show, Tomlinson?
Not massively. Go back and watch We Need to Talk on Friday, where I was kind of ranking Premier League managers' performances so far this season. I think when I watched it back, I had a bit of a whiff with Bielsa. I probably should put Bielsa in the bottom tier. But my other rest of the players in tier 5, I think, were Daniel Farke, he's gone, Dean Smith, gone, and Ole. So, not gone just yet. But yeah, go and watch that if you haven't already.
All right, sweet. Like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and we'll catch you on next week's Winners and Losers. Bye.